Before we start, imagine something almost unthinkable for Portugal fans. Cristiano Ronaldo not walking out for a World Cup match. No last-minute goals. No leadership from the biggest name in Portuguese football history. Just silence and pressure. Now the real question begins. If Ronaldo is not there in the 2026 World Cup, who takes control of Portugal? Who becomes the leader when everything is on the line? And more importantly, can Portugal survive that moment without him? Stay with this video till the end, because what you are about to hear could completely change how you look at Portugal's World Cup chances. And if you enjoy deep football breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe right now, because this is exactly the kind of story we cover every single day. Let's be honest first. Cristiano Ronaldo is not just a player for Portugal. He is an identity. For more than a decade, he has been the face, the leader, the pressure absorber, and the match winner. Even when Portugal struggled, Ronaldo was the one moment of belief that anything was possible. But football does not wait for anyone. And the World Cup stage is even more brutal. Age, fitness, form, everything matters. So the idea of Portugal stepping into a major tournament without Ronaldo is not just a tactical change. It is an emotional earthquake for the entire nation. Now the biggest question: who replaces him as the leader? The most obvious name is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno is already the creative engine of this team. When Portugal struggles to break down defenses, he is usually the one trying to unlock everything. His passing range, his vision, and his ability to score from distance make him a natural central figure. But leadership is not just about skill. It is about handling pressure when the entire stadium is silent and expectations are crushing you. Bruno has worn the captain's armband at Manchester United many times, and he is not afraid to take responsibility. But at a World Cup, under extreme pressure, the spotlight is different. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every pass is judged. So the question is not whether Bruno is talented enough. It is whether he is emotionally ready to carry Portugal's entire dream. Then we move to Bernardo Silva. If Bruno is the fire, Bernardo is the calm brain. He controls tempo like very few players in world football. He can slow the game, speed it up, or completely shift the rhythm without panic. In tight World Cup matches, that kind of control becomes priceless. Bernardo also brings experience from the biggest club stages in Europe. He has played Champions League finals, title races, and knockout pressure matches. But still, Portugal leadership is a different weight. Because here, he would not just be a midfielder. He would become the link between generations, the bridge between past Ronaldo era and future Portugal. And then comes the most exciting part of this entire discussion: the new generation. Portugal is not short of talent. In fact, this might be one of their most technically gifted generations ever. Players like Rafael Leão bring pure unpredictability. When he runs at defenders, he changes games in seconds. He is the kind of player who does not wait for structure. He creates chaos. And chaos sometimes is exactly what wins knockout matches. Then there is João Felix, a player who has always been surrounded by expectations. For years, people have said he has the talent to become a superstar. The World Cup 2026 could be his defining moment. Without Ronaldo, the spotlight would naturally shift to him. But the pressure is huge. Because now there is no big brother figure to share responsibility. And of course, there is João Cancelo, one of the most complete fullbacks in world football. Not just defensively strong, but also a creative force in attack. Modern football often sees fullbacks becoming leaders because they see the whole pitch. Cancelo could quietly become one of the tactical leaders of this team. But leadership in football is not always about who wears the captain's armband. Sometimes it is about who steps up in the hardest moment. And that brings us to a deeper question. Without Ronaldo, does Portugal become more balanced or more vulnerable? Because there are two sides to this story. On one side, Portugal could actually become more unpredictable and fluid. Without Ronaldo's fixed attacking role, the team might press more, rotate more, and attack from multiple directions. Opponents would not be able to focus on stopping one single player. That could make Portugal more dangerous in open games. But on the other side, when pressure arrives in knockout stages, teams need a moment of certainty. A player who says, "Give me the ball, I will decide this match." 4 years, that player was Ronaldo. Without him, Portugal must find a new source of certainty. And that is not easy at World Cup level. Now imagine a quarter-final. 1-1 scoreline. 80th minute. Crowd is tense. Legs are tired. Every pass feels heavier than usual. In that moment, who takes responsibility? Is it Bruno Fernandes pulling a long-range shot? Is it Bernardo Silva controlling the rhythm and waiting for a gap? Is it Rafael Leão exploding down the wing in a moment of brilliance? Or is it a collective team effort where Portugal wins not because of one superstar, but because of structure and unity? This is the identity crisis Portugal may face in World Cup 2026. Because for so long, they have had a clear answer to pressure situations: Cristiano Ronaldo. But now, they must find a new answer. And here is the interesting truth that many fans don't realize. Sometimes, the absence of a legend does not weaken a team immediately. Sometimes it forces evolution. It forces younger players to grow faster. It forces responsibility to spread across the squad instead of depending on one individual. Portugal might actually enter a new era where leadership is shared, not owned. But shared leadership only works when every player accepts responsibility. And that is the real challenge. Because talent alone does not win World Cups. Mental strength does. Team chemistry does. And the ability to handle pressure when the world is watching, that decides everything. So the real question is not just, who replaces Ronaldo? The real question is, can Portugal finally become a complete team without needing a single hero? Or will they discover that even the most talented generation still needs one final leader when everything is on the line? In the next part of this video, we will break down Portugal's possible tactical system without Ronaldo, how the formation could change, and which young player might shock the world as the unexpected leader of the squad. Now, if we go deeper into Portugal's tactical identity without Cristiano Ronaldo, the first major change starts with formation flexibility. For years, Portugal often built their attack around Ronaldo as the final finisher. That meant crosses into the box, direct attacks, and structured finishing patterns designed to maximize his presence. But without him, everything becomes more fluid. Roberto Martinez, or whoever is managing Portugal at that stage, would likely shift towards a more dynamic front line. Instead of playing for one central striker, Portugal could use a rotating attacking system. This means no fixed number 9, but instead 3 or even 4 players constantly interchanging positions. This is where players like Rafael Leão become extremely important. Leão is not a traditional striker. He is not someone who waits inside the box. He is a winger who drifts, attacks space, and destroys defensive shape. In a system without Ronaldo, Leão could be given full freedom on the left side, almost like a free attacker rather than a strict winger. On the right side, Portugal could use Bernardo Silva or João Felix in a more creative hybrid role. This allows Portugal to overload midfield areas while still maintaining attacking threat from wide positions. And in the center, Bruno Fernandes becomes even more crucial. Without Ronaldo, Bruno is not just a midfielder anymore. He becomes the primary chance creator and secondary goal threat. His positioning would likely move closer to the box, almost as a floating attacking midfielder who arrives late in dangerous areas. This role suits him perfectly because he thrives when he is given freedom rather than strict structure. But tactical systems are only one part of the story. The bigger challenge is psychological. Because in World Cup football, pressure is not linear. It grows with every minute, every missed chance, every mistake. When Ronaldo was on the pitch, Portugal always had a mental anchor. Even if they were losing, there was always a belief that one moment could change everything. Without him, Portugal must create that belief differently. This is where leadership becomes collective instead of individual. Bernardo Silva could become the emotional stabilizer. He is calm, controlled, and rarely loses composure. In high-pressure matches, that personality matters more than people realize. He is the type of player who can slow the game down when everything becomes chaotic. Meanwhile, Bruno Fernandes brings intensity. He is emotional, expressive, and constantly involved in the game. This combination of Bernardo's calmness and Bruno's intensity could actually form a balanced leadership core. But even then, something is still missing. Because every great World Cup winning team usually has one defining moment player. Someone who can change the game instantly. Portugal would need to find that player from a new generation. This is where the conversation around João Felix becomes extremely important. Felix has always been seen as a talent waiting for a breakthrough moment. In a Ronaldo-less World Cup, this could be his final chance to step into global superstardom. The system would give him more freedom between the lines, allowing him to operate as a second striker or advanced playmaker. But the question remains, can he handle the consistency required at the highest level? World Cups are not about occasional brilliance. They are about delivering in multiple high-pressure games back-to-back. And that is where Rafael Leão might actually become more dangerous than expected. Unlike many creative players, Leão does not rely on structured build-up. He relies on direct impact. One dribble, one sprint, one moment of chaos can change everything. In knockout games where defenses are tight and spaces are small, players like Leão become unpredictable weapons. Now, let's not forget Portugal's defense and midfield balance. Because without Ronaldo, Portugal cannot afford to rely only on attack. The structure behind the ball becomes even more important. Players like Rúben Dias would naturally step into a stronger leadership role at the back. He already plays like a defensive commander at club level, organizing lines, controlling positioning, and maintaining structure under pressure. In a Ronaldo-less squad, Dias would likely become one of the most important voices on the pitch. And this is where Portugal's identity could truly shift, from a superstar-dependent system to a collective control system. But there is still a risk. Because when teams transition from a superstar-led structure to a balanced system, they often struggle in decisive moments. Why? Because structure can control a match, but it does not always decide it. At some point in a World Cup knockout game, structure breaks down. The game becomes emotional, and that is where individual brilliance is still required. So Portugal faces a dangerous but exciting transformation. Portugal versus a top opponent. 0-0 scoreline. 70th minute. Portugal dominating possession but not scoring. In Ronaldo's era, everyone would be waiting for that one moment. A header, a penalty, a late strike. But in this version of Portugal, responsibility is shared. Bruno tries a through ball. Bernardo controls tempo. Leão takes on defenders. Felix looks for space between lines. And the opponent no longer knows where the danger is coming from. That unpredictability could actually become Portugal's biggest strength. Because modern football is slowly moving away from dependency on one player. The best teams now are systems, not individuals. But still, World Cup pressure is different. And no matter how modern the system is, fans always ask one question in big moments. Who is going to decide the match? That question is exactly what Portugal must answer in World Cup 2026 if Ronaldo is not there. And maybe, just maybe, the answer will not be a single name. Maybe it will be a team moment, a collective decision, a new identity forming in real time on football's biggest stage.